Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the depths of Soulful Insights. Some of you may know us, but those who don't, I'm Jess, and this is Dina, and we are the founders and owners of Soulful Insights.
So today is our first video of many that we will be uploading each week, and we will be choosing a topic and discussing our insights and our thoughts on that topic. Today's topic is past lives. Just before we get started, I'll just read our disclaimer. So the video that we present before you includes the opinions of Soulful Insights Australia. That's us. We do not represent the opinions of others or all. What information you take out of this video is entirely up to you. So thank you and enjoy.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait.
So where are we starting?
Okay, understanding past lives, I suppose.
Okay,
Everybody, okay, we believe in past lives.
Yes.
We believe that everybody is reborn.
Reborn, definitely believe in reincarnation for sure.
Yeah.
About the life cycles and how they affect you and yourself and what you bring over, I suppose.
Yes. So you could probably a good thing to, best way to explain it would be is, say, just think at the top of your head some place that you really would love to visit. You've never visited anywhere in the world, but you are drawn to it, you love it, and you don't know why. That is generally an indication that that is somewhere that you have been before in a past life. Then think about somewhere that you would never want to visit, but you don't actually understand why you would never want to visit. That's also generally an indicator that that was a past life. And you break it down to food you love, food you don't love, games you played as a child.
Games you played as a child, it was type of pretends, like pretending that you did.
Yeah, role-playing,
that sort of stuff. How you approached different people. So if you didn't like people with beards, or you didn't like women with long hair, and it has nothing related to an incident that happened as a child or older. It's something else.
That's what you've probably got to realise is some things that you don't like or like are created from your environment and the way you were brought up and the way you grew up. But then you need to break it down to, well, there's never been an incident in my life where I nearly drowned, but I have a fear of the ocean. Yes. I've never been to the ocean and I've never drowned, so I don't understand why going on a boat in the middle of nowhere and not seeing land, and that scares me.
Yeah, you can narrow it down a little bit too. So say for example, your mother, she has always been on the ocean and she has a fear of drowning, then you can usually indicate that that's been passed down through the genetics of your family. But if no one in your family and none of your friends have ever had an incident drowning or being upset on the ocean, then it's probably a good indication that it's from your past life at some extent. And then you can explore it and either overcome it or develop it or have more fun with it. So,
and generally what our things like that, like for me as a child, I could swim from the age of 2, I had no dramas, I never ever had an incident where I nearly drowned, nothing like that. However, going out on the ocean in a boat and not seeing land scares the crap out of me. Like, I need to see land, and as you are out there, I'm like, okay, I can see land, I know that I can swim that way, but I don't understand why. I have explored that I was drowned at ocean in a past life. So understanding that now, I haven't been out in the ocean since I've explored that and understand that, so I don't know how I'll react, but hopefully understanding that, I will react differently to what I previously have reacted to.
Yeah, one of the, going back to places you always want to visit, mine is always, ever since I was a little kid, I did not even know where Venice was. I didn't even know what country it was in, but I loved Venice. I loved the concept of the floating city, and I loved their masquerade ball and how beautiful the masks are. And I have explored that now and done a little bit of journeying to understand it. And I was a very prestigious woman that was at the event when it was in full swing. And so I got to experience it, and there's a fountain there, and I can see the fountain, and it's a really good feeling to know that that came from somewhere. And in the same token, I know that one day I will eventually visit, so I can sort of roll it over, I suppose, and experience it in this lifetime, and any hurts or enjoyments that were had, I can
move from them,
move away from them, or enhance them. So if it is, I know for me, it's a really joyous experience. So if I could experience it now in this life, it will open that up for me, and probably open up another aspect of my personality.
And it sort of helps you heal as well.
Yeah.
So like for me, in regards to places like China, growing up as a kid, I was always like, why the hell would I ever want to visit China? Like, that's just like not on my list of things to do. Don't have no interest in it whatsoever. I have found that I was in China, and I haven't worked out exactly whether I was actually Chinese or whether I was somebody that was there, but I was murdered. So when I figured that out, now when Jess and I are looking at places to travel, I want to go on the Great Wall of China. I want to go to the amber factory. Like, now I understand that that's what happened to me over there. I'm comfortable enough to go, yeah, actually I would like to go visit China.
And making a new experience of the situation will, and don't get me wrong, you don't need to travel to the country to fix the problem either. You can simply just
acknowledge it, accept it, and move on.
And you can read up on the culture, and if you read up on the culture, also you may actually learn more about yourself. So if you find something really exciting about a particular time period, and you really get enthusiastic about it, it's usually a good sign that that was a part of your person and who you were. You know, like, we've done a fair bit of work on it, so we know what gender we were, what role we had, how. So don't think that in the beginning, if the only thing is you have a dislike for a country and their food, then just be gentle with yourself. Just start off slow. Okay, so try their food and try and understand why it's so nasty, and then or why it's so good. Italian for me. Oh God. But
I think the point is about remembering a good or a bad experience, and remembering your past lives. So, like Jess said before, you can explore it, and you don't have to travel to explore it, but you need to heal from it, good or bad, and you need to accept that that's what you were, and that will understand your makeup and the way you are now. Because there are many things that people are like, I don't understand why I react to that for whatever reason. Yeah. Once you start understanding your past lives and putting it in context, you understand yourself now in this life a lot more, and that will allow you to be freer.
I think, yeah, I agree with that one. And I read something ages ago about past lives, and how every life you have, you are given the opportunity to heal everything that happened in every other past life.
That's right.
It doesn't necessarily lead towards enlightenment, but it is an element that will help with enlightenment. So once you don't have to address every past life either, because the universe will show you this is something you need to address, because you're reacting in this way, or you have this pain in your body, or you have attracted these people into your life because of the way this happened in your past life. So if you can see it, address it, make sense of it, and heal from it, then you'll notice there'll be a cosmic shift in how you attract and react.
And that goes then to things like, so say in this life you have financial difficulties, and you feel like you're never ever on top of your finances, and you feel like nothing ever goes right for you. There could have been a situation in your past life where it could go two ways. You could have either been this rich, pretentious person who just like money, 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 and so they're teaching you something now. Or you have been poor in several lives. So by healing it now, figuring it out now, and working out now in this life, then that will heal all those previous past lives that has been done to. And then in your next lives, you've already healed from it this life, so you will likely not bring it into your next life to you would have worked that out.
I think it's also important to understand that, getting a bit sciencey, I suppose, but if you look at the late and great physics genius, oh Lord, it's coming to me. Can't speak. Video screen, always on.
Not the fellow in the wheelchair.
Yes.
Oh yes. Wasn't he like?
Thank you, Stephen Hawking. His theory of time is that there is actually no concept of time. No. So, if for whatever reason, in whatever time sequence you believe in, if you automatically heal anything in this lifetime or this consciousness, you automatically. You may not heal it completely, but you may do building blocks and building steps for those realities, that time period and that life of yours to heal itself and bring it forward into this one and into the now. And you can have, there's so many wonderful things, but I think, can I talk about my spearing?
Yeah.
So, I didn't understand because I've always had a trouble with my right hip. I thought it was sciatica, I thought it was spinal, I thought it was everything else. And I've had heaps of work left. No, that's right.
Oh, yes. Yeah, what's right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure it out. And we did a past life regression thing for both of us actually. And I actually had a look, and I saw the whole sequence, and I was actually betrayed in a way, and I had a spear actually go through my hip and out the other side. And the pain throughout the experience was excruciating. But the moment I addressed it and forgave the person who speared me, that's another important thing, is forgiveness, because they have marked their soul as much as they have marked yours. So if you can forgive them for whatever reason, then you are not only shifting your own consciousness, you're actually helping somebody else in theirs. So whether they're actually on this physical plane of existence or their soul is somewhere else wandering around having a great time, you are still helping them and you're helping yourself. So it's not a selfish thing, I think, also to look into your past lives, because you are healing everyone. And
it's just like this.
It creates like a
ripple
effect. And it's a beautiful ripple effect throughout time, space, whatever your belief consciousness is, it will heal it. So I'm a huge
and just going on that by forgiving that person or whatever, that then brings us to talk about people that you meet now in this life. Yes. You may meet someone for the first time and automatically have this connection as friends, as lovers, whatever it is, and you don't understand why. It's just like you crave that, you want to go out for coffee, you want to really get to know them and be with them. And they could have been a brother, a sister, a lover, a friend, a grand, whatever in a past life, and they've just been brought back into this life as somebody else. And
for a different lesson as well. I think that's important. You can actually have people that were your sister in a past life, which I'm pretty certain we were. And then you've got, they could have been a brother, or they could have been an aunt, or whatever, and whatever role they played in that lifetime, they want to continue that lesson with you. Yeah. So, and depending on, and this is very important also, how you reacted in that lifetime and bringing those reactions forward into this lifetime is also another lesson that you need to learn. So, you might meet people that are actually a part of your soul family or soul consciousness, and they may irritate the hell out of
exactly. That's right. You may meet someone and just don't actually understand. They could be the loveliest person, but you don't actually know why you don't like them. And you just have this like, don't want nothing to do with you.
And that's fine too.
Yes.
And when you're more conscious about past lives, you can simply go and just ask. Like, the simplest thing is if you just ask, and you can receive in many different ways, which is probably about journaling, researching, meditation, asking. Be careful though, but asking before you go to sleep, like, why does this person upset me? So, and actually wake up in the morning and have, I'm a big one for having a book that you only write your spiritual stuff in, so that you can wake up in the morning and you just write down notes, and then actually go research your notes. Like, good old Google is the bomb, okay?
And like Jess and I do, YouTube is another wonderful thing. Like,
yes.
Google and YouTube are our best friends. So YouTube have a lot of past life regression meditations, and that is how we have
discovered them.
Well, yes, we started out like that, but now when I do a Reiki, I have since found out last week or this week, that I actually picked up on someone's past life through the Reiki that I gave them, and that was only because of something that was happening with them now. And Jess now can also just sort of, like, I can say I've had a dream and she'll understand that that's related to this and you were this and whatever else. So we have opened our subconscious enough to, starting with the meditation and going through that, like, we still, don't get us wrong, we still go back to that and go, okay, well, there's an issue we need to address, we're going to do a meditation to find out why. But yeah, it's start with that, like, find a really good one.
I also think is every past life is never just straight good or straight bad, because I'm using you as an example, my love. In one of her past lives, which we've kind of explored a fair bit now, she was Native American, and several past lives, but the one that I've really honed in on, because I really like that one. She's a very strong warrior and had a lot of honour and spoke well of themselves and were a great leader in their community, and were quite lethal, to be honest, were quite lethal in how they approached warfare and hand-to-hand combat, but they had chosen a life of peace, and they chose a wife, and picked this wife out of, it was at a powwow, wasn't it? Yeah. And just sort of walked across, and he never wanted to date anyone, never dated anyone, and then suddenly she walks out, and he's like, that one, that's the one I want, that one. And they married, and it was beautiful, and she was pregnant, and she's standing in the water, and she copped a spear straight through. And so she still takes through the traits of the power and the regalness and the beauty, but she had to release the death and the loss, because he sort of fell off the wagon a little after her
because
passing.
during while I was doing the regression into that past life, like, I come out of it going, the love I'm going to cry. The love I felt for him and he felt for me was so pure.
Yes.
And then when and it was like, you know, just before I died, we were living just this blissful life, away from everybody else, sort of go back into the village every now and then to do stuff, but we just lived this peaceful, blissful life, and we thought we were going to grow old and die together. And then I was murdered, and then he took on that role of avenging my death, and he came through, and he wanted to tell me after, 400 years, we worked out it was, that he wanted to tell me that he'd done it, he avenged my death. And I was just like, that's great, thank you, but I missed him so much. The feeling that I had for him was like, and I think that, like, still understanding that as well, like, I know that each life you've got a different soul partner, but like, he was just, I think I'm a little hung up on the feelings in that, just how it was so...
It was very pure. Like, there was there was no, it was very equal, it was very pure, and
especially for that time where women were, Native American culture, women were still held very high.
Are we still good? Okay. The light went out, people went home.
So, like, women were still held very high in Native American cultures, but it was just this pure love, and this, you know, we were having a family together, and then,
and I sort of went into the role of understanding his perspective, and that's another reason why it's good to have an outsider help you with your past life.
Because having that second person is able to, you know, get a different perspective, and you can be like, well, I know you as a person now, so I am seeing it from a different angle, and yeah.
And I kind of like doing past life stuff. Comes in me. It's having an outsider's perspective. Even just having Thena, for me, it's because if I'm going through the emotions, sometimes you get a little weighed down, and you can see for her like that purity of love and beauty. So I was able to stand in his side and his understanding and why he needed revenge, and also that he
needed to have to tell me that he got that revenge as well.
And it was so strong for him. Like I can still feel it. Like he was very this was, and he did some really interesting things to the people that hurt his wife.
But it seemed like it took him, obviously, the 400 years to come forth and be like, she's found me. I just need you to know that I've done this for you. And I think that was for him more of a healing process for him to be able to do that.
Yeah, and that's where we come back to Athena actually addressing it and having a look at it and feeling all those emotions actually helped him and his soul life and his soul journey and his, what are we calling it, energetic soul makeup? Genetic soul. There we go. We did write it down. It really helps. It helps everyone. Like the more you start to realise that each and every life is interconnected in some way or another, and then each and every soul is interconnected in some way or another, and you healing yourself and taking time to heal yourself and heal your past lives is going to affect on a cosmic
and like
level.
We're all put on, like now at the moment on this earth, like, but throughout, we're here to learn something, we're here to teach something.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for, and that learning and that teaching we will take through to the next life and our past lives and all the rest of it. And it's a process of, I feel a lot like, my personal opinion is, it's each life we're supposed to grow and grow and grow to be able to remember everything from our past lives and everything from our soul. So then eventually the last life you will reach this, you just know everything, and you remember everything,
and you've learned,
and you will move to a different phase.
Yes, and that's also really prevalent if you have a good chat with a child. Children have a natural, they remember everything, all right?
Can I just, scientifically, this is proven, from 0 to 5, children still have that memory. They will say things to you that you're like, where did that come from? Like, I don't understand. Like, my 7-year-old loves China, wants to buy Chinese artifacts, wants to go on a plane to China. I'm like, why? He obviously was something to do with China in a past life, and he remembers that, and he loves that. So 0 to 5, they do still have that remembering. However, once they reach past that, if you don't nurture that and keep them growing with that, they forget. So
yeah, we're very passionate about that too.
Yes, definitely. Now, but yes, just to,
we're going to
we could sit here
for a couple of hours.
Yes, we could sit here for ages and talk about it. So we are going to wrap up.
So thank you very much for listening to us. Yes, and we are going to.
After this video,
are we still going? We're good?
After this video, if you have any questions or comments about what we spoke about, please feel free to write them in the video, or you can privately message us if you're unsure, and we'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. And if there is that many comments and questions in regards to this, we'll later on make another video
to answer some of those. We will, as you can see, both of us are learning how to access the lineal understanding of past lives. So if you want to come see us, or even ring us, or get like a phone reading from me, or get a Reiki from Dina, because we'll pick up a lot more and do a lot more of an individual read on someone than we could ever possibly do over the internet or that sort of stuff.
So we are at 178 Peter Street in Rockhampton. Jess, like she said, does do phone readings, so you can ring her or come and visit us, make an appointment online, and thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening.